NFR Extra is a weekly podcast that focuses on the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo and features icons that embody the rodeo and Western lifestyle. And now here are your hosts, Nevada Caldwell and Rockin' Robbie Hodges.
Here it is, NFR Extra, episode 46. Keeping things rolling through the quarantine, trying to keep people informed, bringing on great guests, see what they're doing in the downtime, the hiatus, whatever you want to call it. And this episode is no different. We're joined with four-time Wrangler NFR Qualifier, barrel racer, Stevi Hillman. There was a lot of good things she touched on, Robbie. Thank you, Brylan, for bringing her on this show. And she was a special gal. One thing I learned about her is she's worked her way up from the bottom to the top. I mean, she hasn't won, no gold buckles or anything like that. But at the end of the day, she for sure has worked her way up, Robbie. I mean, you were in on that conversation.
Yeah. Absolutely. Brylan, you do a good job with these guests, and she was especially a good one because, it was interesting hearing about how she has two horses, and which one she uses where, and she was actually telling us a little bit. I don't want to give everything away, but she was telling us how, she didn't use the one that she would have ordinarily thought that she would use at the national finals, but turned out pretty good for her. They ran that record time, and then, of course, what she used at the American, we caught her right off the American win. That was a great time to have that money. And, man, she was cool. And I loved how she was talking about how it was weird, the angle of the arena there running in crossways at the big arena and with that big shark cage in the middle of it. So I think you guys will enjoy this interview with her, and all the girls, I know they will. Yeah, well, and two, one of the things she touched on, understanding that rodeo is intimidating, right? And getting into it. And if you're not bred and raised in it like you two, it's just, it's not that easy just to jump into it like many other sports or lifestyles. And she touches on that too, that how important it was and how the love of horses and kind of the Western lifestyle. And well, obviously 4 times she made it to the NFR, she's doing something right. And then absolutely. Yeah. And then obviously, we're joined with Wrangler NFR Qualifier, ambidextrous bull rider, Trevor Reist. Brylan, where'd you find this guy at?
So I was actually attending the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo right before the Extreme Bulls. He was getting ready, and Susan's like, hey, we got to go catch up with this guy named Trevor. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she says, well, I'm going to do a Rodeo Inc. segment with him. But the crazy thing is he's got to switch ropes tonight. And so when we got in there and we're taking some photos, he tells us about how he is switching ropes because depending on which way the bull bucks, left or right, he switches hands. Well, and Susan Canode, our sleuth of finding like just great stories with her Rodeo Inc. for the NFR Insider. There's no different. And then, Robbie, you love bulls and you're around that stuff a lot from the PBR, from anything else. It's pretty interesting talking to him, right?
I know. The only thing I could think of was me going to switch barrels sometimes, and there's no way I would do it. There's no way. That's the only person in rodeo that I've heard of in the last 20 years that's done something like this, and you're really going to love that interview with him. And golly, that's a tough way to do, but man, anybody can ride them with either hand. That is amazing. And yeah, you guys take a listen. I really think you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, well, and the thing too is that you got to pay bills, and obviously this is an accident how he figured out how to ride both hands. But yeah, you're right, Robbie. It's a good story, and hope you enjoy. Up next, Rodeo News of the Week with Brylan Bentley.
This is Brylan's Bull, the Rodeo News of the Week.
PRCA Stat of the Week, 11, the number of times a cowboy won 2 events in one night since the inception of the National Finals Rodeo in 1959. The last time it happened was in round 8 of 2014 NFR, when Trevor Brazil won team roping with healing partner Travis Graves and shared the tie-down roping win with Matt Shizawa. Calgary Stampede cancels for 2020 due to COVID-19 after 108 years consecutive. Cody Snow will head for Junior Niagara for what remains of the 2020 Pro Rodeo season. Pro Rodeo targeting Memorial Day weekend for rodeo competition to start back up.
Every December during the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, thousands of rodeo fans call Las Vegas home. Families and friends gather to strengthen bonds and celebrate our Western heritage. But we'll do it only when it's safe for you, our fans and contestants, because that's all that matters. We know you can't travel right now or be around others, but when it's time, we'll be ready. This is the NFR. This is Vegas.
Hi, I'm Sherry Servey, and this is NFR Extra.
Robbie Hodges. All right.
Oh, man, what a great day.
How you feeling, my man?
I'm feeling good. I'm holed up here at the old Kickback Ranch, and we get to talk to some really cool people today, and we get one more here, don't we? This is going to be good.
Yeah, we do. I
know
mean,
my daughter's proud.
yeah, this is, and we need to do more of this, I mean, I don't think we haven't had as many barrel racers on the show, and we need to have a lot more. I'm surprised we haven't got yelled at by somebody that we need to do it, but well, here we have 4-time NFR qualifier, Stevi Hillman. Welcome to NFR Extra, Stevi.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming on.
Stevie. It's good to hear from you. Heck yeah. Where are you right now, Stevie? I know you're probably held up somewhere. Where are you?
I'm home. That's weird to say this time of the year, but I'm home. Just got off a couple horses and just hanging out. Yep.
Right. Everything in the yard getting ridden right now, isn't it? Overtime.
Yes. Our 3-year-olds are actually catching up. They've been behind every year, and we've got a bunch of them this year, so more than normal for us anyways. So we're actually enjoying the time at home and enjoying the time on our babies. So.
That is great. Good for you. Tell us a little bit about where were you when the shutdown came and everything. What was the last rodeo, obviously, that you went to?
Oh, so that's kind of a sad moment because we had just won the American, and then we were headed down to Houston with my horse feeling really good. So we got shut down probably a day or two before Houston.
A lot of people had that happen. There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
Were you running truck then or Sharpie? Which one were you taking to Houston?
Well, since Truck did so good and he likes Houston, we were going to start out on him, and Sharpie was going to go as backup. If you do really well at Houston, it's a lot of runs in one pin. So it was going to be both of them. So
I gotcha. That's cool. I did. So you didn't get to even run there. You just had to turn around and go home, I guess. So
yeah. We were about to leave. So thankfully we didn't head that way. But a couple days before we got shut down. So.
Oh, heck. So that American thing, that really helped this time of year when there's nothing to go to. You're very lucky there.
That was a major blessing from God, especially with the timing and just the timing in our life in general. And then on top of what's going on in the world, it was definitely a blessing.
It was. So tell me about that. I've got to know this because a lot of my barrel racing, having a daughter, how was it running that angle in that giant arena with that big old shark cage out there in the middle of it? That's the biggest thing I noticed in the barrel racing. Everybody looks at that shark cage.
Yes. And I will tell you, so it was interesting during practice because my horse got down on his belly and started stooking at it. So I had to lope around that shark tank there for several minutes in practice.
Oh, man. Something in there were going to get them, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a big booger for sure in practice.
That's right. So, Nevada and I were talking at the beginning of this. We love to hear barrel racing stories because we have so many fans that are barrel racers on our show, and of course the bull riding is the favorite of everybody, but
sure,
it's so fun to see the way the barrel racing, it's a very, very close second. I don't care where you go in the rodeo world, everybody loves the barrel racing. And y'all are the most known. When we do the autograph sessions in Vegas, it's the longest line of anybody. You know how that is. So many times, when I host that, we have to cut it off. What's that like when you get to Vegas, let's say, and trying to have you time with it all going on there?
Sure. That's tough. It is really hard. I just, being there 4 times, I've learned there is no you time. I take just a few minutes, after autograph sessions before I go to the rodeo for myself, just to breathe and regroup my thoughts and my focus. But for the most part, we're there for the fans. We're there for that event specifically. And I've learned to love being tired and just taking it all in. It's exhausting and you can start kind of just wearing yourself out, but it's going to be that way and I just expect it. So I just try to remember that we're there for the fans, and it's so cool to see those lines like that, and just it makes my heart so happy. So I guess I would say that keeps me going, honestly.
Right.
I got a question. So, you've made it 4 times, the NFR. How was, because it looks like there's a progression going on, right? In great athletes, you don't rarely do come out and just hit home runs and then all of a sudden you're a super stud, right? That those come every 20 years, something like that in any sport. How has it been? Because as I'm looking at kind of your kind of this pacing, each year you've gotten better. What have you done to keep? What do you do, I guess, throughout the season, preseason, every year? What have you done to get better and better? Is there's certain things that you do, practice-wise? What are the things you do to get better?
That's I think every year I've just realized how to fine-tune, and the constant for me has been Truck, my main horse. He's been there for me, and he's been, familiar for me, and I know him, and I know I can win on him. And so the most important thing to me was, from the first year to now, was getting to know him better and better every year, and how I can keep him happier and healthier every year. And that's been my goal, is to just keep him happy and healthy, because I know if he is, then we're going to win and we're going to do good. But on top of that, it's the team. It's not just about me. It's mostly about my horse, but it takes a team. It takes an entire support system, from family, friends to sponsors, to keep this thing going. And I have to say, I have the most incredible team behind me. And I, there's been times, doing anything in life, you get to a point where you wonder, why am I doing this? And you get in a down slump, and they're there to keep you going and push forward and keep your focus on what you have control over. And I would say that's probably the main thing is that my husband taught me, is focus on what I have control over. I have control over my attitude and my preparation. So I've learned that over the years, to stay focused on that.
Well, that makes sense.
That's cool. Sounds like a good coach.
I do have a good coach.
You bet. So you got Truck and Sharpie. I know at Sharpie this year you ran the fastest time at the NFR. You had right? Was it Sharpie you had it on? And
yes.
It's more of a small pin. I mean, do you change them on that? Obviously you do, but like you just mentioned, of course, that giant pin at the American and then Houston. Tell us about where's that dividing line of where you're going to use Sharp instead of Truck?
Sure. And one thing that's hindered me in my career is I've not yet had a little pin horse. I've got horses that kill it outside in the big pins. Sharpie and Truck both can run, and they like the wide open spaces. And so I get so excited when summer comes around and we can get outside. But I've honestly not had the little pin horse yet. So for me, mentally, it's been a struggle just to get around the barrels in the little buildings. So for that fast time this last year was so special. The horse means a lot to me, and just really, I've always wanted a fast time NFR. I've always wanted it, and so it couldn't have come at a time. Yeah.
No, that is awesome, and that is neat. So let's have a scenario here. Say you're going to Pendleton. Which one do you like there? I mean, which one are you eeny, meeny, miny, moe 'em, or do you have no, I'm taking you here, I'm going to Pendleton, which one would you pick?
And that's a good thing too. I've learned from my first year to now is to run the horses where they like to run and where they're fit. I've just learned. Truck has not gone to the NFR the past 2 years, and it's been one of the hardest decisions I've made, was not having my main guy with me, but he doesn't like the little pin. He doesn't like it there. So I just really try not to put them in those situations anymore. So for Pendleton specifically, I would pick something that loves to run, obviously, that I can keep on turning. So I ran there once. I think I've had my fun at Pendleton. So
I gotcha. Yeah, that's a fun place. So you like the bigger pens, you like the big Kansas and Oklahoma arenas and stuff where they're, the 18-second patterns and stuff like that. That's a lot of wear and tear on one all season too. You try to swap around. It is good that time of year, obviously. Tell us about that. How many runs in a row, or how many, when you try to stretch them out? Feel good.
Keeping one of the hardest things in rodeoing, barrel racing, is keeping your horse sound. And you just said that it's hard ground, it's big runs, it's every day, sometimes twice a day over the 4th of July where we're running these horses. And I try, I've been so blessed to have more than one horse the past 4 years. Some people only have one main horse, and I've been able to spread it out to where I can run some in this rig or this pin, and I try not to run them too many times, unless we have to, and just make sure I'm paying attention to my horse and are they healthy, are they mentally doing okay, and paying attention to my horse. That's most important out there.
I got you. I see that. It is, and the hall, and people don't realize, it ain't that running and turning; it's that diesel smoke in them, and how hard that is. I know. Yeah, it's so rough on the traveling anymore and the stuff. How many rodeos a year? What is your goal of rodeos? I know if you're behind a little or you're having some trouble, you got to add to it. But what's a comfortable number of rodeos that you can take them to badass horses to?
Oh gosh. Well, I've pushed my limits every year. I think I've gone to about this last year maybe 70 something for me, and that wasn't. That was the least amount of rodeos I had been to. I usually go to 100 rodeos a year. And I think it, mainly is because I hadn't had a winter rodeo horse. And so I'd have to kind of get going in the summer and make my runs count. But, and I go to a lot of rodeos too, seasoning horses. So when you see the number count, it's not always one horse. Especially for me, it's seasoning a 4 or 5 year old at a couple small rodeos. And, over the summer I'm hauling 2 rigs. So, that number usually isn't just on one horse.
Right. Who's helping you drive? Who's taking the other rig with you? Is your husband, or do you have somebody driving for you?
So I couldn't do it without my husband. Ty, of course, does everything. He's jumped in this full force with me, and he's been driving, and gosh, he helps me do everything. I just can't thank him enough. But I've been really blessed the last few years to split rigs with really good friends. Kelly Collier's one of them. We got along. We went to the same rodeos and split costs, and it worked out really, really well. So if you can get along with somebody and travel well together and have the same end goal in sight, then it's totally worth it. So we try to do that when we can. It's not always an option, though.
I got you. That's interesting that, and it's so nice to have somebody behind you. Everybody, they don't realize, like you said, the team and the family. And Nevada is so neat on here to hear the people talk about, it's never in the rodeo world. It's never I, me. It's always my dad showed me this. We talked to J.W. Harris today and Casey Fields, Blue Jeans, and they all attribute everything to their parents. My parents supported me. My dad, he helped me get on bulls. My mom helped me with barrel racing. Every one of you girls are the same way. And my husband drives for me, and sometimes in a man's, it's sometimes hard to be not in the spotlight, be the Dewey off, Loretta Lynn's Dewey and Doolittle. And it takes a special husband to be that, and you are very lucky, it sounds like, to have somebody to take care of you. Yeah.
I am very lucky. He even rides in my barrel saddle and takes me down the alley. He is very confident in who he is. So, yes, I am very lucky to have that guy that, got as I do. And I will tell you, he doesn't get enough credit. He's just as good a team roper as I am barrel racer, and he should be out there doing this too. But he enjoys what he's doing. So I'm very blessed to have him.
Stevie, I got a question.
Camera in hand.
So what are you doing? This is one of the big questions we ask everybody right now. So what are you doing to keep your head up, keep your body going, knowing that this thing could be 3 weeks, a month, 2 months. Who knows? What are you doing right now to keep yourself kind of busy? What are the things you got going on?
just keeping my board. I'm trying to keep my horses in shape, keep riding them without just they're bored, but make it fun, keep them in shape to where when our name's called, we're ready to go. I think we can take advantage of this downtime. If you think of the positives and what you can do to better yourself, then you stay away from the negatives of just being at home. But I've thoroughly enjoyed being still and just redirecting my focus, and kind of mentally getting stronger, keeping my horse in shape, and I should have no excuse. I should be in shape myself. So there's a lot to do at home.
You know what this reminds me of, and I don't know why I'm bringing up NFL football here, talking about barrel racing, but what reminds me of is when the 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens were playing in the Super Bowl, and there was that blackout, right? And I want to say at that time the Niners were rolling, and then that blackout went, and everybody had to chill, right? Like everybody had to chill, and then they get everything back up, and then Baltimore just came stomping. I wonder if that's going to happen right now as you look at a lot of, for where you're at, Stevie, and other individuals, and then we look at the other events.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree with you, and I've talked to a couple people about this, that, there's going to be some, not just barrel horses, but I say this, but barrel horses that have had some time off and some recouping, that this could be some fun watching when we get back at it.
Good point.
Yeah,
I think about that.
Sure agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes. What do you think about, I know, and Nevada and I haven't really dived off into this, but I know there's a lot of stuff and talking to some people around at the office and stuff about, changing the rodeo count. This is an anomaly year. We're going to have to do some different things, and what is it's going to be hard to get to that. What are y'all limited at, 100 or 75 rodeos? What is your limit at WPRA?
Well, we can go to 100 rodeos for sure, but it's going to be so different. Everything's going to change. Some of these rodeos postponing. What's the schedule going to look like? And it's going to be interesting. But with rodeo comes challenge, so it's really nothing new. So here we go.
Right. Yep. And I think this asterisk here, you're going to see a great NFR this year is what you're going to see, because there's going to be a lot more races, I feel like. And maybe Nevada, if you do too, do you think it's going to be an absolute at the NFR year to win the world?
I can't. You just think of anything that, like, kind of way I look at it is like when you just yourself get sick, right? And you've been kind of down and out, and you're watching everybody do things, and then all of a sudden you start feeling better, and then you get back to 100%, and then you want to go.
Yep.
I just think like the whole human beings on this planet are going to be like that. So it's hard to fathom what the NFR is going to be like. But after the one we just had in 19, this could be one of the crazier ones we've ever had. Because people could show up that, to the point of the lights out, all of a sudden something clicked during this time, and they come back on the other end and they just roll right on through December. You can create a lot of momentum is really, I think, what we're going to see is this momentum swing for people like Stevie and others.
Yep. I think we'll have a lot of people at Pasadena this year or somewhere. There's going to be a lot of those later on rodeos. I almost wish they would consider maybe going another month in the year. That's been talked about. Maybe.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And let it go to, instead of September 29th or 30th, let it go to, October 31st maybe, or, November 1st. But of course we don't know how long this is going to be. That's one thing. So.
Right.
Not at all.
You bet. So you got a good crop of 3-year-olds you've been riding, I guess. So you're pretty happy there at the old house, and you got stuff to do. Imagine the horses are getting ridden.
I'm enjoying it. You talked about being sick and then getting back at it. I've had a bad infection, and so I have been down pretty good. So I'm feeling better, and I've been there riding my horses and getting back in shape. And, I'm enjoying it. I'm ready for the rodeos to start again, and we're ready to roll. But I really am enjoying this downtime and taking advantage of listening to some other podcasts and just really, truly growing and learning a little more.
Nice.
So.
Well, I hope you're listening to the NFR Extra now. This has been a joy for us to get to talk to people like you and everybody. One thing I see, and Nevada will tell you this, and it's a tribute to the cowboy, is not one person we've talked to has said, "Oh, my life's over now. This is ruined." Everybody's making the best of a bad situation. And don't you agree, Nevada?
Oh, you'd say that I heard that word pivot, right? I think everybody's pivoting right now. It's kind of a business term, right? Slang word, but yeah, I think everyone's pivoting and smartly and like it's almost like survival, so you got to do something. And if rodeo if rodeo pays the bills, man, you can't just chill right now. You got to athletes can never chill if you want to keep making those big checks.
Right. Now we're going to have to deal with Stevi and them 3-year-olds because she's riding that crap. They'll all be ready to go. You're going to be 5 horses deep. Yeah, that's great. Good for you.
Stevie, I want to go back to your first. I want to go back to your first NFR. How was it that first night? Let's go to Thursday night, and you're getting ready to come out. What's going through your head, knowing what you've seen, knowing what you've experienced, but now you're part of that experience? What's going through your head before you're getting ready to come out of that tunnel?
I can remember that night like it was yesterday. It's cool to think about because, I'd always wanted to go to the NFR, and I always watched tapes and kind of thought what it would be like. Well, I did get a chance to go in 2012 when one of my horses was there. So I kind of got some behind the scenes, and it lit a fire even deeper. But that first night of my first NFR, there were zero nerves. I was just so incredibly thankful and excited to be standing in that alley that I just have no other words than I was just so overwhelmed with just excitement and thankfulness. So my first NFR was just really exciting to me. Thankful, took it all in, enjoyed it, won a little money. My horses worked good, and it was a great first NFR.
Did it open up a lot more relationships on the business side? Like, did you start, because, we're bringing this up quite a bit, and Bob Tallman talks about life-changing, making the NFR. Mm-hmm. How did the business side for you start to work after that first NFR?
It definitely opened a lot of doors for me with businesses and relationships with other sponsors. And, and it's cool also to see my sponsors that had started out with me before that just really supported me, and no matter how good I did. So it was just a great experience overall for me, and to really, I don't know, the career was, going, but that sealed it to just keep pushing me. It was just really exciting. It was a great.
Yeah, and then you were just consistent after that. And yeah, showing up. So am I reading this right? Now, did you not necessarily grow up in a rodeo family, but yet you were in love with horses, racing? Like, is that true?
Right. That's true. I did not grow up in a rodeo family. I actually was raised there right across the road from my grandparents, and they had a farm. They had cattle and alfalfa, and my mom and dad split when I was young, but they always kept horses around. We always had horses, gather cattle to ranch on.
This is in Colorado, right?
They took us to play days. Yeah, in Colorado.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just wanted to be on my horse all the time. I just, my grandparents and my dad had to come find me late at night on my horse, just riding around. So I guess I just never really expected that. The love for the horse just grew, and I knew nothing about rodeo. I'd watched tapes. Rachel and Judy Millimecki is who I really wore that tape out, kind of. So, my stepdad, when I got a little older, my stepdad, Dave, he trained and showed horses. So that's really kind of where my foundation of training, my passion for training grew right there. He took the time and spent, so much time in the round pen and just foundation stuff. So I owe a lot of that to him. And then from there, I just, I rode with cutters and reiners and polo players and really learned a lot.
Man, that's cool.
That's interesting. Hey, I got to ask, are you, so you're in Weatherford now or just outside there, right? Is that where you're?
What, Texas, Weatherford, Texas. Yep.
Yeah. Are y'all like, because every cowboy that Nevada and I know are either in Stevensville, dang near everybody's either in Weatherford.
Yeah.
Are you networking your friends? I mean, do you wave at them when you drive by? I know there's, what they call it, social separation, but
How is it going?
Yeah.
I bet Weatherford's a sad town right now, and
Yeah, I think so.
Are they coping? I mean, is everybody from Weatherford? I mean, 90% of the people we talk to is either Stephenville or Weatherford now. I bet it's a weird town with everybody trucks and trailers parked in the yard.
Exactly. My mom made a joke the other night. She said, I always am missing you right about now. So she's been over here about every day, hanging out with me, enjoying the time being home. So, I think, taking advantage of it anyways.
Well, nothing will make me happier than to wave at you at the rodeo somewhere. Good Lord, I'll never complain about another little guy's rodeo. I think we're learning what we don't need and what we don't need to complain about now, aren't we? Because I don't think any of them will give me. I know. God love you. Long time.
It kind of reminds me of, and not exactly, but September 11th. And what I'm saying is like after September 11th, right? Like September 12th. And, just how I don't know how you guys were, but everywhere I went, people were opening up doors for you, saying thank you, like manners, like all of a sudden manners had just exploded everywhere. And we appreciated each other, and it has that.
Sure.
Yeah. That's what it reminds me of. And then we're still in it. I mean, we're not nowhere near
anything out of this. Right. If we don't get anything out of this whole deal, hopefully it's going to be that. It's going to be, hey, you know what? I appreciate my friends down the street. I appreciate, and we're learning about things we thought we needed that we really don't right now. And,
exactly.
If you can say anything good about this, which I don't know what you can, other than hopefully that's what's going to come out of it, is it's a little tranquility in people and being nice again. And the rodeo world's like that. I hope other people take note of the way y'all are, and we all are, hopefully, Nevada included, that that's something that'll grow out of this. It's going to be like climbing out of a storm cellar after a tornado, isn't it?
I ain't never been through that, but man, growing up in the desert.
You ain't never been to Shamrock, Texas, then.
No, hey, let me add something. It's funny you bring that up, Rob, because one of the things I've read about this, right, like when people are going to grocery stores, and specifically on the West Coast, they're like, the West Coasters don't even know, because if you grow up down there in the storm country, when hurricanes are coming, this is what you do. You go and get your crap, and you get locked in, and you disappear. Same thing it sounds like for tornadoes. You got to be ready that this is coming, and it's going to tear up everything. Yeah, I don't know what that's like. Just 120 degree here in Vegas. That's usually what we got to deal with.
Lucky you.
But times are changing. Yeah. Hey, real quick, Stevie.
A thunderstorm to wash all this down.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Stevie, what before we get off this conversation here with you, what would you be doing if you weren't a professional rodeo athlete, barrel racing? What would you be doing?
Well, I do have a job at the hospital as a X-ray tech. I'm a radiologic technician. So I do have that degree. I'm not really wanting to be in the hospital right at this moment with everything going on, but I do have some amazing coworkers and boss there that I do love the healthcare field. I have a passion for it, but my passion is bigger, with the horses and training and rodeo. So while I can do it, I do, and I think just training and helping people, I'm able to spend a little more time with some girls locally that have begged me, to spend time with them. So I'm truly enjoying this time and giving back to others that we're busy all the time, and that's an excuse. We need to slow down and make time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, I got a kind of question for both of you. Both of you guys have been in rodeo forever, and when I think of team roping and I think of barrel racing, and first name that comes to mind is Mary Berger. Man, it seems like you guys can, for your side, Steve, you guys, if you take good care of yourself and you make sure that you're getting good horses and a good system coming in, you could do this for quite a while, right?
Yeah, you can for sure. And that's, I've been asked the question a lot. How long are you going to do this? How long are you going to rodeo? We love rodeo. We love traveling. We don't have kids. We feel like this is the platform God has us on right now. And, I don't know how long we're going to do it, but, I do know we have other things. We have a little stud horse that he's 3 this year, and we're going that route and trying to raise some of our own here. And there's some other things we want to do in life as well. But, You know, there's nothing like the family of rodeo and the people and the journey it takes you on.
Yeah,
so
no doubt about
we're
that.
in it.
Yeah. Well,
You better believe it.
hey, Stevie, this was good. I really thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
We weren't, you know what, Robbie, and be honest, we were like, neither one of us knows Stevie. How's this going to go?
I mean, I see her and I wave every once in a while because she's cute. But, you know, I mean, I do that. But she is something. I can't wait to be standing on my patio on my RV. You know, I'm the one that's got the big RV with a patio on the side. Everybody's cooking on. I can't wait to just wave at some friends at the rodeo. I'll be the happiest guy, and I know you will be too. So,
I'll be happy to set up camp for rodeo for sure.
I know, golly, you ain't kidding. Will you please take care of yourself? And we're praying for everybody, and we're going to get out of this, and we're going to rodeo.
Yeah, thank you for coming on the show, Stevie.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys soon, hopefully.
All right, good luck, and
Thanks,
stay
Stevie.
healthy.
Have a good week.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Boyd Paul Hamus, and you're listening to NFR Extra.
To celebrate the 35th anniversary of the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas, LVE and PRCA present the top 35 most memorable moments.
World champion barrel racer Mary Walker has experienced life's highest highs and lowest lows. In April of 2000, Mary and her 1981 world champion steer wrestling husband Byron lost their only child, up-and-coming rodeo star Reagan Walker, in a tragic road accident. A month later, fate stepped in when the Walkers bought a bay horse named Percolatin'. They called him Latte for short, and he was just what the doctor ordered. In the early goings of their partnership, Mary and Latte had a serious wreck that resulted in Mary suffering injuries that took months to recover from. But the comeback was magic. Mary and Latte qualified for her first NFR in 2012, and they caught fire, winning rounds 1, 2, 3, and 7, and placed in 4 more rounds. They cashed checks in 8 out of 10 rounds, setting a then NFR barrel racing earnings record and also finishing second in the average. With Byron cheering them on every step of the way from the stands, Mary and the 2012 Barrel Racing Horse of the Year Latte came from behind to win that year's world title and Ram Top Gun Award.
It's just her time right now.
There it is, a world champion. What a story.
Mary was inducted into the National Cowgirl Museum and Hall of Fame in 2013.
Rodeo is about discipline, sacrifice, and perseverance.
Every one of us doing their best to strive for excellence.
Rodeo makes us resilient. It's our engine.
And you've played a big part in that. You've empowered us, supported us, and allowed us to dream.
In these incredible times, we are also reminded of the power of our communities.
Looking out for one another and caring for those in need.
Brighter days are ahead, and we look forward to spending our time with you.
In the meantime, we'll spend our time #AloneTogether.
And when the time comes, we'll be ready.
And once again, we'll celebrate all the things that make us a community.
We are rodeo.
Hi, I'm Nellie Miller, World Champion Barrel Racer, and this is NFR Extra.
What up, Robbie Hodges? I know you're from far away. We're typically in the studio, but we're getting this done however we got to do it around this virus. How you doing, Rob?
Right, I'm great. I've driven to about 4 different rodeos in the last 3 weeks, and every one of them when I got there got canceled. I'm like everybody else in this rodeo industry, and this is just part of life. This is one more struggle in this world, and we're going to get through it. And hopefully, like you said, we're going to we're going to get through this, and we're going to give y'all something while you are hunkered down and sheltered in place. I'm actually on a ranch in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm going to do a little fishing while I'm waiting before I go to work, and that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what the people say. You know, I trust them. So we're gonna be quiet for a few days and hang out here.
I know that sounds good. Well, obviously, what we do here is we bring on special guests, and this guy. There's some special things, cool things about this guy that I've read that I think is pretty interesting. But we are joined by Trevor Reist, bull rider, professional bull rider. Welcome to the show, Trevor.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming on, man. I mean, this is, as Robbie alluded to, obviously there's a lot of real-time stuff going on right now, and it's impacting not just the rodeo business or just us three individuals talking here, the whole world, right? And, we get people that we gotta want to give something to listen to, and let's get people know you, Trevor, right? You're a young guy. You're born in the 90s, right? I just love that. You're a young dude. And what I think is interesting right away is, let's just dive into this. You ride with both hands, right? You're a bull rider that rides with both hands. First of all, when did you start doing that? I mean, when did you realize that at what age did you start doing that? But how did it make you unique compared to the other bull riders?
Yeah. So in 2018, I dislocated my right elbow in Gooding, Idaho in August. And so I went home and I was like, I need to at least get my circuit count to finish the season out. And I didn't have a shot at making the finals at that time. So I went home and I practiced left-handed for 2 weeks, and then finished going to circuit rodeos left-handed and finished the season left-handed, and it worked out really good for me.
Holy crap.
Wow.
So never before you did that?
I rode a couple calves when I was like 8, left-handed.
Holy crap.
That's crazy. I couldn't ride with both hands in my left foot.
But what's funny, Robbie, is I thought it was going to be some sort of story that, I've been doing this since I was, umpteen years old, just something I tried. But you did it with your back against the wall. Like you had to. I mean,
yeah, pretty much. Yep. And so last year I was like, I'll just switch back and forth, see which way they turn back, and then I'll go with that hand.
Wow. Now, does it feel? That's
talent.
Yeah, it is. Not only that, I mean, does this give you an advantage? Like, because when I think of switch hitters, right, in baseball, they get called up to the plate because all of a sudden, let's just say this guy hits right and this guy pitches left, or whatever the advantages is. Have you maybe started to look at how you can implement that when you do ride a bull that maybe tucks right a lot, tucks left? I mean, just where advantages for the left or the right arm. I mean, do you think about that now?
A little bit, yeah. I try not to overthink things because then you run into problems. But some bulls are like around the left, they can be pretty quick right there, and if you don't catch the corner right, then they've just got you beat. And so there are advantages, but you got to ride them no matter what they do. So don't overcomplicate things and just go at it. Oh no,
don't overcomplicate things by switching hands.
Yeah, right.
You're my hero. Would be an advantage on right or left, even. And if you had to have a choice, which one would you prefer? I mean, if you're getting on, bruiser, or if you're doing that, which hand would you say, hey, this is my go-to? This is great.
My right hand. Definitely my right hand.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
I figured there was one,
Yeah. I've been riding
I'm very impressed.
The longest, so I'm the most comfortable there. But, last summer I had one that was supposed to be right in the gate to the left, and I went left-handed on him, and away from my hand left-handed, I'm not so good. So this bull comes out backwards and is around to the right, and I bucked off at like 7-8 on him, and I'm pretty sure the only reason I did was because I was surprised I rode him that far away from my hand left-handed.
Exactly. That's awesome. Hey, you know, I'm going to call Tom Glass, and we're going to get a rule. If you start one left-handed and you're having trouble, I think you should be able to swap right in the middle of the ride.
Yeah, just do the old hack ring trick when you throw the rein over their neck.
Yeah, exactly. I think, we're going to call it the Trevor rules.
All right, sounds good.
Now, that's a good question, though, Rob. Have you ever gotten the chance to ride Bruiser?
I haven't. Just never. My name never matched up to his. So.
Yeah,
I'm not sure you wouldn't do good. That'd be golly.
No, that's fascinating.
So, I think it'd be fun.
So
a little bit about the beginning. You know, your winter here. Everybody started out with a bang, and you know everything's kind of had the brakes put on it. But where were you last? I mean, or where? Give us a little bit of insight about where you were and kind of what is transpired in the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
What your plans were and what you've done.
I was in. Let's see. I went San Antonio to the American semis, and then I went down to Houston and made a little bit of money in San Antonio. Rode one of my bulls in at the semi qualifier, and then made a little money in Houston, and then I was entered up in Austin, and trying to think where all I was supposed to be entered. I had some Texas rodeos to go to, and I came home for a week, and then I was just about to leave yesterday to go to Mercedes, Texas, and I got a phone call, and they canceled it right before I pulled out of the driveway.
Oh, man.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it, Nevada?
Yeah, no, that's, I mean, you know, Trevor, I'm here in Vegas, man, and, you know, same goes for everywhere else, right? I mean, we're dealing with it. You know,
yeah.
So,
you're
an Iowa guy, you know, and from what I know, for the champions that we've gotten to deal with the past couple of years, you got some guys up there that, Timmy O'Connell, right?
Oh yeah.
Now, do you guys and Mr. Sundale, forgot to mention that. Do you guys run into each other? Because I know there's some one-off rodeos right up in that area. Like, these guys are a little bit older than you. Timmy's not, but I mean, do you guys know each other? I mean, you guys get to hang. I mean, is there some sort of Iowa clan that you guys get together with? And, you know, do you guys have a camaraderie?
Yeah, I see those guys around. Sometimes we end up entered at the same rodeos, and it seems like we see each other every day for a week, and then won't see each other for a little while. But yeah, I help those guys out. I'll pull Tim's rigging whenever we're at the same rodeo, and I'll help Wade with his saddle, and whenever we're at the same rodeo. And me and Wade actually, we started riding at the same place, at the same youth rodeo when we were kids.
Nice.
And so we've known each other for a long time.
That's cool. You know,
a lot of people don't realize he was a great bull rider. I mean, I knew Wade when he was a bull rider. We used to go to West Bend and all those rodeos up there, you know, when you were going. And
Wade's
he's a pretty handy bull rider too.
Yeah, Wade seems like he could just about ride anything.
I know he couldn't ride but with one hand, though, Trev. I'm going to tell you that. Yeah. He was great.
So, you know, there's something interesting about you, Trev. You do quite a few things, but you do some things with horses on your own, right? Or, I mean, is this kind of a hobby, or is this something you do as a trade? But you shoe horses, right? And then do you train racing horses? What do you do there?
Exercise race horses. So my dad's a horseshoer, and he owns some race horses. And so he always said I was going to end up a broke bull rider that was shoeing horses, and after he done riding bulls, and he ended up having an accident, got a nail in his eye one fall.
Damn.
And then he had a hip replacement one winter too, and so I helped him out when he had all that done, and ended up learning to shoe horses in the process. And so now that's my my retirement plan when I'm done riding bulls is to shoe horses. And he's had race horses forever. And when I was, I think 17, I started riding race horses at the track. And so, yeah.
Man. I mean,
so what I'm fixing to do here, if these we don't have any rodeos to go to, start riding race horses again.
Wow.
That was my question. What are you going to do? Are you fixing to
jump back in that?
Are you fixing to get bent over and get to do some horseshoeing and some horse riding here pretty quick, aren't you?
Yep.
What? Tell everybody, where's Linden, Iowa at? Where are you located in Iowa?
It's about an hour straight west of Des Moines.
Oh, okay. So the Sydney way, not the Dave Moorhead way.
Correct.
I got you. I'll be at Sydney this year. I'm excited about that rodeo, too. That's a good one. And,
oh, heck yeah.
I always have a great time there. What an old traditional rodeo that is, too, isn't it? So much fun. And
oh, for sure.
What rodeo is that? The Sydney rodeo, you said?
Sydney, Iowa, yeah.
Oh, wow.
You ever...
I heard on Cowboy Corner one day that Jim Shoulders said his favorite two rodeos was Madison Square Garden and Sydney, Iowa.
Well, that's contrast.
Yeah. Nevada, if you've never seen the Sydney rodeo, there was a documentary back in the 70s, before both of y'all young guys' time, called The Great American Cowboys. And a lot of that footage was there. It's old wood, the panels are wood. They actually have a hospital right at the hospital door, they call it. And then they used to run a bull through there. Do you remember that, Trev? Hearing about that? They'd kick that door up and then a bull would go running in there through the hospital, and the guys used to come running out of it. It started back in the 60s, I guess, and it was just a tradition then. But one actually got in there. It's a rowdy town up on top of a mountain, and they have a pretty good old time there. I've been there a couple of years. You get a chance and you're over that way, check that rodeo out.
Yeah, I got a lot of family in Iowa. My dad was born in Iowa. I had great place, man.
Thank you.
Hard-working folks come from there. I mean, honestly, when I think of guys like, when I think of Timmy O'Connell, when I think about Wade, and we're just getting to meet Trevor here, those dudes are hard-working, man, and they're hard-working at their craft. And I can only imagine Trevor's the same thing. So
I think that's a tribute to how good they are at what they do. They have a great work ethic. I mean, you grow up in Iowa, you're going to either farm, chase cows around, starve to death. So,
well,
tough kids.
Let's talk about something, what we talk about a lot on here in the NFR. Trevor, you made an appearance, and, as we know, there's 120 contestants, but really for each field, depending on if you're able to participate in other events, you're fighting out of 15 people. So it's not easy to get this thing as as the conversations keep piling up about this. But what was it like when you're first, you're getting ready to ride, and what was going through your head that first night, day one or round one, back when you made the NFR? What was going through your head? I mean, what were you feeling like?
I was pretty just excited. It was a dream come true, and sitting there behind the buck and chutes at Thomas and Mack, the place is seats are full, and it's everything that you worked for, so it was pretty cool. I didn't have the best 10 days, but just drive me to make it back there and redeem myself. So,
dude, you made the NFR. It doesn't matter. Do you understand? I mean, not everybody can have success there, but you're an NFR. You're an NFR bull rider.
Yeah, you got a back number. That's for sure.
I know it does help your banker, but no, once you're there, you're it. I mean, you're the top 15 best in the world, and I'll stand you with anybody anyway because I know you. But that's not.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I got to ask you, when you were down there in that locker room, we always like to do this with the NFR guys and the world champs and stuff. What were some of the rookie things that the guys, the other 14 guys or the other 15, counting the clowns, come over and bother you, Webster and them? What was some of the initiation stuff that you dealt with there? I mean, give us your take on it.
Honestly, I think we had the only year that nobody did any of that.
Were they scared of y'all or what?
I have no idea. like I kept hearing these stories about, getting your gear hid from you and your gear bag dumped out and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like no one ever touched my gear bag. My stuff was good. I don't think anybody messed with anybody in the locker room. Boudreaux did lock himself in a stall somehow. Oh yeah, he pushed the door the wrong way and thought that we had locked him in. And
oh my God,
he crawled out the bottom, and I opened the door the correct way for him. But that was about the only thing.
I can't believe you didn't leave him.
Oh, I let him crawl out. He was under the door.
Oh, I got you.
We're bringing Boudreaux on the show, and all I've heard is this dude's a character. He's a young character.
Oh, he's a blast. He'll keep you entertained.
Nice.
Sure. Absolutely. He's the sort of the new Cody Whitney of, when I was there in 2010, Cody Whitney was and Rostocki were the two, they were the two jokers. And you really had to be careful. And did they tell you also to stay out of the bareback riders room? They're crazy in there after the bareback rides.
That's what I've heard.
Hey, Trevor, I mean, look, I know that maybe it probably wasn't the best 10 days of your life, right? I mean, you got to make the NFR, but I mean, are you using at that moment or not that moment, that time that you made it and everything leading up to the NFR? I mean, ever since then, are you looking to duplicate that year and how you did things? Or are you still doing the same things? Have you made adjustments? I mean, what are some things that you're working on to secure another spot at the NFR? Since then, what are some things that maybe you've done differently or you're trying to do that you weren't doing before? Is there anything that has changed?
Oh, other than I can ride left-handed now, I treat everything the same as I did to get to that NFR. Keep the same mental attitude and go at every bull the same. And, making the NFR does give you a confidence that, you belong at the top 15. So, just go to my rodeos and get my bulls good and get back there.
Yeah.
You're going to be fine. You win so much money. I love watching you ride. I love watching you, every week when we're out on the road and stuff. They know you're a badass.
Yeah.
NFR.
And adding, left and right, man, that's something to be said going forward, that as we get more, the strategies get a little bit more detailed, right? As we, Trevor, we've talked to guys like Sage on the show, Stetson, and all I hear is what I hear in other sports. Everyone's studying each other. They're watching videos. I mean, you're all getting better. This bar just keeps rising. But when you think about top 15, we probably don't talk about this enough, but if you compare it to other sports, let's just say, for instance, power forwards in basketball, well, if you're in the top 15 of the entire NBA, you're pretty damn good. I mean, seriously, you're good just to make it to the NBA, but if you're in the top 15, you're a legitimate athlete. I mean, that 15, you can count that right on your hands and your toes. Well, not team ropers, but you can count on your hands and your toes, how many people you consist of that year. And that's some powerful stuff. I don't do enough reflection on the NFR and what a top 15 means. So I could only imagine the work that you've been putting in since tasting the NFR to get back to that bad boy. What other people, what are you studying other people right now? Are you doing other things that can enhance your game besides of just what you did to get to set in back to the NFR in 17?
Yeah, I'm always watching guys that they're really consistent in their riding, and watching their form to see how they got that consistent, and hanging around them and paying attention to how they mentally prepare to ride bulls, and you can learn a lot from them guys too, and then just ask questions too. Never hurts to ask questions. So we all got improvements to make. So may as well. If you want to be the best, you got to make those improvements. So
yeah, when you ride, are you trying for every ride? This is kind of something that, when we talk about riding styles, and I've learned about consistency with bull riding. Like, are there times that you're riding and you're like, you jump out because it's, it's just not worth the look or losing the points. You just rather just not get the points. I mean, do you do things where you just know it's not what you're looking to do and you bail out? I mean, does that happen when you're riding?
With me, very seldom. Something's got to happen in there that, whether I think I'd need a re-ride or something going on there, like a bad wreck's about to happen or something. But I try to ride them through about anything.
Gotcha.
I never got in the habit of checking out, and that I thought growing up too many guys that they checked out all the time, and it cost them a lot of money. So I was always against that. But there is a time when you do need to check out, and I do know when that is. So
nice.
That's good.
Well,
yeah,
that's interesting to me. That you think that far ahead of it. I got to ask you. And I like to do this with you top guys like this. When you were growing up, who was your bull riding hero? Who did you? Of course, we hear a lot of Jim Sharp because he rode perfect. Tough Hillman made the comment on one of our shows that Jim Sharp was the most boring bull rider in the world. Until he left the rodeo and went to the bar, but that was another story.
Yeah.
But, who was your guy that, God, I want to ride like that guy?
I like Chris Shivers a lot growing up. He was a little guy like me and rode a lot of bulls, and so yeah, I was a big Chris Shivers fan growing up, and but
that's a good one. I've been with Chris for the last 2 weeks at these Bulls, Bands, Barrels deals that we're doing, and he's the guest host there. That guy looks like he could still get on.
Well,
he's a little rounder, but
he's only 25, right? I think he was like 10 when he started riding for PBR back in the day.
I think he was. Yeah. He was 9 years old. He rode his big wheel to the rodeo.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you bring him up, Trevor. The episode that you're on, we talked to Leal's championship bull riding. Brylan Bentley and myself, we interviewed, the folks over there, all the Leals. And who's involved with them? Chris Shivers, in the youth movement.
Yeah.
And it's crazy when you connect that. So
heck yeah.
That's awesome, though, that you're looking up at Chris because, as the Leals talk about, his give back to the bull riding business has been gigantic. And really, they credit him like they would not be in existence if it wasn't for Mr. Shivers. When you think about junior, let's just go junior rodeo, what were you, I guess, yeah, let's go back there, 92. Yeah, you were 8. So when did you started riding then? Where did you compete? Was it like Little Brit? There wasn't really much of like what we have today. So how did you get your experience as a young kid riding?
There was, when I first wanted to start riding calves, there was a youth rodeo going on at the county fair, and I said, "Oh, I want to ride a calf." And so Dad took me, and he figured I'd hit the ground and never want to do it again. And he was wrong. So that youth rodeo, they kept putting on a couple of youth rodeos across Iowa, but they were based out of Pilot Mound, Iowa. And I went there, and I just kept getting on calves, and he'd want to buck some calves out, and I just kept getting on them one after the other, and after the rodeo that Saturday or Sunday or whatever, and so I just kept after it. And then I'd go to other youth rodeos after a couple of years, and we'd kind of figure out where to go. And never did do little bridges or anything like that, but just a bunch of little youth rodeos.
Like, how do you like when you look at the kind of the landscape now, when you see, we have our Junior World Finals, PRCA's got the Junior NFR, there's the Junior Bull, the PBR, they have their, I think it's called Junior Bulls. Man, organizations all over the country wrapping their arms around the youth movement in rodeo. I mean,
yeah, it's insane. And I think it's really good for the kids too, to get out in places, big buildings, and then when those kids are they go to their first NFR, or PBR finals or wherever they end up, right. They're used to it. They grew up going to stuff like all the lights and everything, So I think it's great.
Well, and two,
I think it does that. I agree. I think it acclimates them to winning lots of money, because that was a pressure issue. I mean, we've heard other guys say that too. You remember Nevada when?
Oh yeah,
Trevor and.
Yeah, it's not cheap, man.
That other Trevor that only wrote we were, and it acclimates them to a chance to win $25,000 or $30,000, so they're not freaked out when they nod their head for that amount of money.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, and the cost to do the business, right? If my kid all of a sudden wakes up tomorrow and is like, "Hey, I want to start playing lacrosse." All right, I think maybe we'll be out. I'm just making, I don't know, but maybe $500-600 for equipment. We're done. Rodeo doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
There's a lot more investment.
Feed bills.
Yeah, right.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So
hey,
go ahead, Rob.
Well, before I forget about it, Trevor, who's some of the guys that, because I know you got your favorites to travel with and stuff like. Who do you just? Because I have certain people that I enjoy working with. Of course, I love coming because most of you guys are going to come hang out in the rig over here at least once a week. But who do you just makes you happy as hell to get on an airplane, knowing you're going to meet up with some of your favorite people? Who do you travel with, and that kind of stuff that makes you feel like ride better or just makes you happy? You know what I mean?
I like seeing everybody at the rodeos. I don't really have any favorites there. But a couple guys I travel with, 2017, I went with Kane Smith, and him and I get along really well. Just kind of have the same kind of mindset towards things. And then 18, I went with Jimmy Martin from Iowa, and we have a lot of fun. He's a really good guy. And then last year I went with Garrett Wickett from Nebraska, and he's a fun kid too. So any of those guys I travel pretty good with. We get along really well, and I'm pretty easy to get along with though. So that goes
I guarantee you, I know you are. It's so funny to hear the guys that were like with who you travel with. People don't realize it may not go every week. It is so important to be with somebody either positive, because you're not going to win every week. You're not going to win every rodeo.
Yep.
Those guys that don't allow you to get down, and say, hey, push pause, Trevor. We'll catch the next one. We've all been 62 with no option, or we've all got one jump, or, and to me, I've seen more guys get killed off in this sport, not physically, but just mentally, by having a bad traveling partner or somebody that, you shouldn't have won, I should have won, or stuff like that. Now, I've always noticed the toughs, what I call the toughs, you guys, don't allow that in your trucks at all. And tell us a little bit, how do you stay so pumped up when you have a run of 3 or 4, rodeos? I'm not going to say that you guys may go 3 weeks. You might sometimes, but, how do y'all stay up?
I've practiced having a positive attitude for a long time, but, sometimes my reset button's just going and getting a workout in, and, you can't let one bull or one bad go ruin your whole week, and so you just got to take it to the next one, and if I'm pretty upset about it, then I'll just go work out and work my frustrations out there and hop in the truck and keep on rolling. And so
I got you.
Yeah,
so your pause button is your workout, Rick.
Yeah, go sweat it out.
I'm always happy about it because I don't work out. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, hey man, I run. I hear you, Trevor. get moving. Whenever you move and you sweat and you just kind of like your mind's focused to your body and what you're trying to accomplish. Yeah, that's a great kind of mellow outer, I guess, if you will, because you become one with yourself. I mean, exercise is key, man. I mean, it has to be. A lot of people still living.
It is.
You know, they're moving and grooving.
It is, and it's really no different. It's no different in what you do or what I do, even with, like clowning. My getaway time when I'm having we all have bad I play guitar. I get in here and just shut everything down, turn on a jam track, and just play to my fingers bleed. I mean, and unless you do this all the time, you have to get away from it a little bit, don't you? What else do you like to do? Obviously, I know you enjoy shoeing horses. Not.
Yeah.
What do you like to do to just get away from the rodeo? Just a few minutes, you know, and just besides what everybody says. No, I'm just kidding.
You know, just see what's going on in town. You know, hang out with your friends or something. If you got a day off, and you can go find something to do, and like go to a lake somewhere or go see a movie. You know, something.
Exactly. That's what I'm fixing to do here for the next 3 weeks. I'm going to go crappie fishing every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds pretty fun. I'm kind of jealous of that.
Well,
get over here. I'm in Alabama. I'm down here at the kickback range. Come on.
Think about what this virus is doing, right? Like it's forcing us into doing things that probably we should be doing, right? Like when you think about the sanitized world and, you know, just being clean at times. But that's interesting. But then this next part, this kind of like, hey, don't be in closed doors with so many people, et cetera, whatever that is. But then they encourage you to get outside, right? Like right now, my family's at home. You know, they're all quarantined, schools locked down. They're enjoying themselves, you know, and they're getting out and they're outside. They're out in the backyard and just doing things outside. And yeah, you're right, Robbie. I mean, fishing, hunting. Oh man, there's so much to do outdoors. You got to keep your mind busy.
I agree. I mean, I think this whole deal has let us kind of get back to being at families and get, you know, I mean, I'm sure everybody's on cell phones and computers, but there's going to be a time when we got to get back outside, hunt, run through the woods like we used to do when we were 11. You know, I'm all for that positive side of it. You know, Cowboys tend a lot of times to make, you know, turn triumphs from tragedy, and I think we do.
No, I agree, man. That's what I've learned being around the rodeo business. I mean, you know, talking to Trevor. But even the positive side, right? This is like, I remember last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, but Dale Brisby, you know, Trevor, we work with him a lot on a marketing level and social media and stuff like that for the NFR. And he does these little 2-minute, 3-minute pieces wrapped around the road to the NFR, right? And there's just interviews and a video vlog, right, from him. Well, one time he was talking to, I don't know, some young guy. He was a bull rider, and his summer was terrible. Like, this guy had not won any money, didn't place anything. And this is just the mindset of the cowboy. But it was the last question that Dale asked him. He's like, so he rattles off all this stuff that he's not doing well in, right? But Dale's like, but how you feeling? He's like, but I feel really good. I think I'm going to get the next one. You know, and it was just hearing him talk. Like, it doesn't matter what happened yesterday. He's got today and he's got tomorrow. And he's going to work on that. And that's, I don't know, I just kind of the testament that I've learned of the cowboy, man. I mean, just, you guys get after it. You make things happen. You know,
mind of a champion, man.
Yeah.
It's the mind of a champion.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing you can do about yesterday, but you can work on today and do better tomorrow. So.
Yeah. No, I learned that a lot.
We're going to get a lot of yesterdays.
Yeah, we are.
You know, in the next little bit. I just,
No, we are.
I hope you're okay. I hope all my friends out there are okay. You know, I mean, that's the main thing. You know, here's something we haven't thought about this is, you know, we're all shut down and we're this. Has anybody thought about what if one of us gets this? You know what I mean? And it, you know, I've been sitting here thinking myself, and I'm sure every one of us have went through this. You know, it's inconvenient as hell to be sitting here not doing anything, but there's a reason for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And God forbid one of us get this and be sick, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, and my attitude's changed in the last week because, you know, I'm figuring out hell is hot. You know, I mean, because it's, you know, and I'll be the first one to admit when it first went, oh, this is this and this is that, but it's real, people. You don't shut down the greatest country in the world for a myth. It's real.
That was a big reality.
I bet right down the strip right now in your hometown there, Nevada.
Yeah, no, it's, you know, and we're going to have to adapt, right? And I'd tell you this, I'm going to learn like I always have in life, but this, being attached to the rodeo industry, you know, I'm very interested to see how, you know, the Cowboys adapt and what we do going forward. I'd be the more positive one to say that I look forward to it.
I agree, and I told somebody yesterday, and Trevor, I bet you're saying the same thing right now with that old bag sitting over in that corner right now, and my clown bar, I'm sitting here staring at it. I will never bitch about going to a guy's little bitty rodeo somewhere and how miserable I am. I will be the happiest clown you have ever seen in your life when you see me.
Oh, I hear you there.
I bet you'll go to any rodeo, won't you? You know,
I was in Council Bluffs, Iowa, and that's 2,000, 2,500 added, and they can't do that. And I was all sorts of upset about it. I was like,
I know.
Normally I wouldn't be, but I was like,
wait.
I need to make some money. I need to rodeo. This is. I'm not supposed to be home right now.
Yeah, exactly. Not in the month of March. Well, you know what?
But on a good note, you're going to get to see some great action because everybody's going to be hungry.
Yeah, they are.
Rodeos, watch about May 1st when they say, all right, boys, let's fire them all back up and go. You're going to see some of the best damn rodeoing and funniest clowns, best acts. Everybody's rebuilding acts, you know.
Well, Robbie,
people are using this time to get better.
Absolutely. Think about this too, Robbie. I mean, you've been a part of it. Trevor, you're probably a bit young maybe, but you know, after September 11th, anytime something like this happens with our country that's major, that just brings us down to our knees, right? To where we got to pray. Mm-hmm. Everyone's got to pray. They didn't think they had to pray, right? That's kind of what happens.
Yeah.
On this other end of it, it's what you see, how America is, why America is so great, and it's how we do things to kind of rebound. And I think September 11th is one. You know, that recession was crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
But you know, here we are again. And yeah, you're right, Robbie. I think the word appreciation is going to be huge for everybody involved, not just a contestant.
I think this was a big old wake up call. You know, all we've done is fought and had opinions. I'm as guilty as anybody.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, every one of us, you get set in your ways. Mm-hmm. I'm not watching this guy. I don't care about this guy, whoever.
Yeah.
I think right now we're Americans.
Yeah.
You know, and we're getting a dose of, holy hell, this is bad, you know, and hopefully it's not going to destroy us, but it's just going to make us, well, it won't, because we're America.
Makes us stronger, man. I can feel it already.
Yeah. I think everyone will just come together on it. And, like you said, after all those events or after the Vegas shooting, you know, everybody came together for it. So,
humans are resilient, man.
Made us stronger, so.
And we're resilient. Yeah. We ain't come through so many trials and tribulations in the human race, man, just to let this happen like this. You know, I don't see that happening. So.
Oh yeah, I'm not going out. I know.
Yeah.
It's a virus.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
gosh.
Well, hey, Trevor.
It's so good to talk to somebody positive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trevor, you're my friend, and I hope for the best for you. And I hope for everybody, but you've been my friend, and I want you to. I'm ready to come. I'm ready to see you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's been day 4 of the lockdown, and I'm ready like hell to see all my friends.
We need to get that. We need to get everybody better and healthy, and we need to get back to where you guys are back in your element. You know, love having you on the podcast, but there ain't no podcast, there ain't no rodeo. That's important.
That's right. Yep. But as soon as we do, buddy, we're going to kick the old kegerator back open, and we're going to go back to having a good time, and it's going to pass.
Yeah.
We'll be there. I wish you the best this year when we get back going.
Thanks, Robbie.
We're going to see you. We're going to see you at a lot of NFRs, and that silliness that you were worried about from last year. Oh, I didn't do good. That's all gone, man.
Yeah.
You're going to kill them.
Well,
I'm ready.
Yes, sir. That's my game plan.
Sweet. Well, Trevor, hey, man, thanks for coming on this show.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate this, man. And yeah, man, nothing but love for you. Keep your head up. And hey, man, I have a feeling you'll be shooting some horses for a little while here. doing some things you probably, but hey, man, what a better time to kind of get your mind right and think about what you can do and, just take advantage of that.
It got me where I'm at, so it's just going back to the basics.
All right. Well, hey, man, be safe out there, be healthy, and we'll get you back on the show at the end of this year and see where everything where we're at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to get him back on here.
Yeah.
I do. I want to see his progression. I think it'll be worth it.
Enjoy your day, Trevor. Stay healthy, man.
Yep. Yes, sir. You too.
All right, man. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Howdy, I'm Bob Tolman, and this is NFR Extra.
That's it for NFR Extra, episode 46. And a big thank you to 4-time Wrangler NFR Qualifier Barrel Racer Stevi Hillman and Wrangler NFR Qualifier Bull Rider Trevor Reist. Up next on NFR Extra, episode 47, 2-time world champion Pro Rodeo Hall of Famer Jack Roddy and 7-time Wrangler NFR bullfighter Cody Webster.
For more information regarding the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, visit NFRexperience.com and follow Las Vegas NFR on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube.
NFR Extra.
All dirt.
All rodeo.
All year.
Gotta make it out to Vegas, where the big boys roam, with the rovers and the racers and the bulls and the broncs, and the ladies in the skin-tight Wranglers and the cowboy